Hi, everyone.
Hello.
How are you?
All right. How are you?
Good. Um, I have a few updates, and then we're gonna talk today a little bit about some of the youth and summer programming that we're working on. So that's why we have our team here that's from the youth and rec department. So we have the cases have very slowly increased, which is overall really good news. We have a total of 2,657 cases that we've had in New Haven residents over the period of the COVID crisis, and 110 fatalities. Um, while it's not entirely clear, or while we may not see the results of a lot of the large scale gatherings and test results right away, overall, the initial indications are that we're headed in the right direction and that cases are going down. And my sense from a number of people that I've spoken with is that people being very diligent about mask wearing has helped out a lot, in addition to people following generally the social distancing. But the mask wearing, it seems like, has had a lot more benefit, and there's some more research coming out that says that it has a significant impact on reducing spread of the virus. Just a couple other quick updates. So as you'll recall, we have two hotels that have a number of individuals experiencing homelessness that have been staying there for quite some time. We're working on doing testing of everyone in those hotels this week. And at Albertus, we have two individuals that are staying there at the moment. Director Bond, you don't have any updates, correct? I'm presuming you said no because you're on mute, but
Sorry, no, not at this time.
okay. So why don't I hand it over to the Parks Department and Felicia, Bill, and Martine, just to talk about the work that you've been doing to set up this summer's programming.
Sure, thanks, Mayor. Parks Department, New Haven Parks and Recreation will be holding summer camp this summer. Live summer camp with half the amount of kids that we normally service. We will be running 19 camps at 19 different sites, servicing children between the ages of 5 to 15 years old. 6 of those sites are public school sites, and then the rest of them are parks and buildings that we have in the city. We will be running 2 two-week sessions from July 13th through August 7th. We will be running our camps from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. No before or after camp this year. And we will have a protocol that will be in place from the time that the children get to the camp to the time that the children leave the camp, which will be 3 p.m. With cohorts of 1 to 5 children will be in a group, and a cohort of 10 will be moving throughout the course of the day with a bunch of different activities. We will work on no contact sports, we're going to do an educational piece as well as games and hopscotch and jump rope and fun types of things. But we will be announcing or actually working through what our schedule of activities will be in the next week or so with our recreation supervisors. There will also be 4 eco adventure camps. Martine, you want to go with that? You're on mute.
Okay, certainly. We are going to have Eco Adventure Junior camps at 3 locations: at Trowbridge Environmental Center, at Bardner Nature Center, and then we're also going to have, we have the 3 traditional sites: Bardner Nature Center, which is going to be replacing Edgewood Ranger Station. We're going to have the location at the Trowbridge Environmental Center, which is also known as East Rock. And we're also going to have the West Rock Nature Center for the older kids. The reason, say that again?
And the sound school.
And the sound school. So we're going to have the sound school at the building. Now, the difference is we're going to have half of the capacity that we have in years past. We're not going to have any field trips, but we're going to be able to maintain a lot of the aquatic programs that we did, because kayaking will allow us to do a social distance. We're also going to be doing a lot of cycling. So we're going to be able to accommodate people that know how to ride and do not know how to ride. So we have some tricycles available for that, as well as a lot of nature interpretation. We're also going to try to do some public programming during the summer. So that means we will be able to do some cycling as well as kayaking programs. Most likely we will not have canoeing, because that involves 3 to 4 people in a canoe, and it will be hard to do social distancing among people that don't know. But that's pretty much what we have in our end.
Bill, do you have anything to add there from the parks side? You're on mute. You're still on mute. There you are.
I'm used to running my mouth. We spent a lot of time putting these programs together. Our guys, my staff, Martin and Felicia, killing me with phone calls and emails and texts, rewriting, writing, and we come up with a beautiful plan, providing opportunities for kids this summer. That's the main thing, is trying to provide an opportunity for these young boys and girls, since they've been, locked down since March. With the help of the school system, the mayor, and all the board of ed people, we come to the conclusion that this will work, and we'll do everything we can to keep our kids safe. The main thing, if I say to my staff, if we don't do nothing, really, that's bad. That's really what we shouldn't do. We need to try to provide something for the kids this summer, and we're doing it for 4 weeks. And we're gonna see how it goes. I know Felicia Martin has spent almost 10, 12 hours a day rewriting and writing, along with waking me up early in the mornings. But we're ready. We're ready to provide. We're ready to do this.
Thanks.
And
Bill.
then with the help of youth services, which is whoever we're picking next, this is gonna be a fun summer. It really is.
Maybe I'll hand it over to the youth department folks to talk about youth at work and some of the work that they've been doing to prepare for that as well. And then we can open up to questions. So Tommy or Gwen or Ronald?
Gwen was taking the lead on this one. First of all, good afternoon to everyone and to the media for bringing this to the forefront. The Youth Services Department really would like to start off by saying thank you to the mayor and to our collaborating departments, such as the Health Department, Director Maritza Bond, for being champions of youth and for making sure that we are having programs for our youth to not only attend, but to gain work experience, this work-based learning experience that will transfer over to their future careers. So we're excited that COVID has not held us down. It has made us more careful, but it is not stopping us. So on that, I will bridge to the fact that we will be moving on with Youth at Work for summer 2020. We are extremely excited because in spite of everything, we still have 50 plus nonprofits, grassroots agencies that are still willing to open their doors to have a work-based learning experience for our youth. As you know, our program serves young people between the ages of 14 to 21, 14 that are in the 9th grade, are New Haven residents or attend New Haven public schools. We still had students putting in applications. The application process began in January and it closed in March, but we did open it up for 2 weeks during the time when COVID first shut down City Hall. And in spite of the barriers, we still have collected well over 400 applications for our summer programming. We are going to do our best to try and make sure that these young people have some form of an experience if it is not an actual employment program, but a training program or webinars in order to keep our young people active and busy for this summer. We are excited that that the departments in City Hall will also be a part of this. We have many students who will be placed in some of our city departments, such as our IT department, our Corporation Counsel department, our LCI department. So everyone is on board to make sure that our young people has a safe place to work in. Again, thank you to Director Maritza Bond, because she has made sure that we are on point, making sure that we have all the safety standards in place, and we are following all of the directives from the State Department of Education Early Childhood Office. And so that is one of the requirements for those work sites who are going to be participating with us. So we want everyone to know that the work sites that we are placing their young people will be in safe hands, because they are required to follow all the health mandates that have been implemented on the state level as well as the city level. I know that in regards to employment, the program will begin July 13th. It will end on August 7th. Young people will have a 4-week experience where they're able to work 30 hours a week, equivalent to approximately 6 hours a day. During that time, we'll be working in collaboration with our, well, as you know, as our newly formed department, Youth and Recreation. We will all be depending on one another to make sure that our young people are safe. So we will be running camps. We will be giving fruitful experience. And for those who do not know, our young people make the wage, the Connecticut state minimum wage of $11 an hour. And so a young person who works that 30 hours a week has the potential of grossing $330. So we're looking at doing this over a 4-week period. And we know that can help out many parents who need to purchase books and school clothes and all of the things. You know, I had a teenager, he's grown right now, but we know that our young people can be expensive, and this is going to help offset the cost. We have some other programs that will be going on as well. And so I would like to have my colleague, Ronnie Huggins, speak to what is going on under the Youth Services Bureau silo with Youth Services Department.
Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, thank you to Mayor Elicker and the team for their support throughout this process. Like Gwen has stated, we are really excited about some things that will be coming out of our department. One of the things that we would like to announce is in collaboration with our newly formed department, we will be helping to distribute some bikes out throughout the summertime to some young people throughout the city, to get them out, to get them active throughout our city streets, to enjoy our beautiful bike trail. So that's part of what we're doing. And we're also encouraging, and maybe the press can help us to get the word out, we're encouraging all sites that will be hosting some form of summer program for youth throughout the summer to please email myself or our department, rhuggins@newhavenct.gov. Email me a copy of their program flyer so that we can put it together and post it on the city's website to help share the word about positive summer program happening throughout the summer. Thank you.
I will also like to, for those who may not know, introduce you to the coordinator of the Youth at Work program, Ms. Tommy Veal, which I'm going to ask to speak because there are other things that we do in youth services outside of Youth at Work. And so I wanted her to share some information of some exciting things that we're doing as well.
So we are going to be hosting 2 worksite orientations for our participating work sites. They're both going to be held the week of June 22nd. One is going to be held on Tuesday the 23rd and the other on Thursday the 25th. It is going to be mandatory, so that way all work sites that are participating understand the protocols that we're going to be following, as well as the ones that we expect them to adhere to once their camp is fully operational. We're also looking to create a plan to be able to have a survey, get feedback from our young people in terms of how they will be working these summers amidst, the COVID-19 pandemic, how that has affected them, and also to kind of gauge, where they are, their comfort level, and to see what we need to do in terms of the steps that we're putting in place now to make sure that we provide a safe environment for them in the future. We've been able to ensure that workplace experience give them some type of guidance in terms of their future. But we also want to make sure that they feel safe and comfortable, that they know that these are trusting adults at their site. And if they have any concerns, that they can come to us as well. And so that's one thing that I feel we've been able to focus on as we transition into what is our new normal.
Yeah, and finally, we want to hopefully the media will be interested. We know that there are a lot of things that are going on, but we really, really thank you for highlighting the positive things with youth and recreation. And very soon we will be reaching out to you. The Youth Services Department will actually, for the first year, be giving scholarships. Will Tommy, did you want to speak to the scholarships? It was your baby, so I want to give you that opportunity.
So due to, and I do apologize for my background noise, due to COVID hitting so quickly and rapidly, we did receive dollars from the state court support services division. And we've been able to reallocate some of those dollars that we were not able to typically put into some of our programming. What we're looking to do with those dollars is put them into a scholarship. And so we're looking to award upwards to 10 youth with up to $1,000 scholarships and or 20 with 500, depending upon how many applications we receive. The application has been posted on our city's website as well as our social media outlets. And the deadline was today, in fact. And so we are hoping that we gain the interest of our young people and encourage them and support them. Many of them entering into college for the first time. That experience is going to look very different for so many young people as well as their families. And so where the traditional, I'm going off to college, some students may be staying home. Some of the excitement around getting ready for your dorm room and purchasing books is going to look a little different. And so we want to be able to provide some support to help encourage them to kind of stay focused on their dream, pursue higher education, but also knowing that the Youth Services Department, Youth and Recreation together are going to support them as they transition. Ultimately, we want them to come back. We want them to come back and work for us next summer. We want them to potentially come into positions that we offer within our department as they pursue their career and finish their educational degrees.
So please know that we thank you for bringing all of this good news to the forefront, and we will avail ourselves anytime if you have additional questions or if there's more information. I did see a comment from Paul. Hi, Paul, for us to send a link to you. We will make sure that we get all the information to you as soon as possible. If we get off this call and we have not answered you, please, ma'am, please, sir, please do not hesitate to reach back out to us, and we will make sure that we get you that information, as we want to make sure that it is in the news and correctly in the news for how people can get in touch with us. And then you can always reach out to our departments. I believe the main telephone number for Parks and Rec over at 720 Edgewood Avenue is 946-8. Oh, I forgot the 203, my bad. Go ahead, Felicia, your number is?
203-946-8027.
And you can reach
203-946-8020.
And then you can also reach Youth Services at 203-946-7582. And even though we are working remotely, we are still picking up the phone. So people are more than welcome to call, and we will be here to answer your questions Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Thanks, everyone. I think, Gwen, you should take over the press conferences in general. You do all right. You do all right in this venue. And just thank you so much to the team. Gage posted on the comments a link to a video that the Parks Department pulled together. And I highly recommend taking a few minutes to check it out. It's really cute, and it's done by kids. So it's really fun. And thanks to New Haven Public Schools. I see Mike Pinto on the call. I just appreciate your flexibility. I know that it's some additional work for you to open up the schools, but kids need stuff to do over the summer. Parents are starting to go back to work, and it's important to keep our kids engaged and doing fun and active things. But it's also important for us to provide some oversight and mentorship and support for kids so that parents can actually go to work. So everyone on the team really thinking about creative ways to make sure that we're keeping our kids safe while at the same time making sure that they're doing positive things is something that's inspiring. I appreciate that work. Any questions from the press? Go ahead, Paul.
And I do second the idea of Gwen doing the daily briefing, and I would recommend part of it be sung because she has an amazing voice. A couple questions. I know I would tune in every day and not let anyone else cover it in those circumstances. About COVID, two quick questions. Are all the walk signals on automatic in the city? Our readers have been asking about this.
I don't know if all of them are, but many of them are. And the intention was so people don't have to press the button.
Mhm. And then you referred this a little bit. So May 31st was the first big rally. 1,000 people went on about the George Floyd issue. 1,000 people went on the highway, and then a week later, or almost a week, there were 5,000. Is there any sense from your contact tracing that there were any cases coming out of that, or did we dodge a bullet?
Director Bond, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, so we monitor our cases daily, and right now we are not seeing significant increases. We're very thankful for that. For the most part, we've been seeing like 97%, 98% of the individuals wearing mask or mask coverings, and so we're really pleased. That the health department has been actively engaging in a lot of the peaceful protests, along with other individuals and entities providing masks as well. In addition to that, we've been providing hand sanitizer. So right now we've been monitoring our data very closely and have not seen any spikes, and so we're very thankful for that. Trust me, we will be providing any updates if we see a change in our trend. We are carefully monitoring our contact tracing efforts as well. I know other cities across Connecticut did express that concerns as local health officials, that they are seeing that within their contact tracing efforts, but we have not on our end. So we're very fortunate.
One last follow on that, if it's okay. We're seeing in our parts of the country, not connected to the protests, but connected with early reopenings, states like Florida and Georgia, that they have had spikes. Are we concerned about that here? Are we opening too early? New York State saying, well, we think we might have to go back on this because they're spiking.
Yeah, so one of the things that the state has consciously been doing is looking at data and science and making sure that the decisions that they make are on those bases, and really looking at public health metrics. And two key things that they're looking at is ensuring that there's a 14-day consistent downward trend on hospitalization rates, along with positive cases. In addition to that, they wanted to make sure that the contact tracing efforts, along with adequate testing availability across the state, is easily accessible. So right now, based on our data that we've been looking at from our reopening, in our specific city, because our urban cities were impacted, much greater than other parts of the state, we are seeing a downward trend. And so, the mayor was conscious about and making a concerted effort, asking very specific questions to our team, to making sure that we were, yes, being consistent with the state, but making sure that our urban city cases were also having a downward trend. And so we're very fortunate that we are seeing a downward trend, and we're not seeing a spike. And we want to make sure that there's two main things that are being done in order to keep the spike from avoiding a spike. And these two things are, the mayor mentioned earlier, is wearing a mask, and number two is maintaining the proper social distancing. Those two things are very critical for us to avoid a spike in our city and consistently across the state.
Good job.
Other questions? I see Michael Bingham.
Am I allowed to jump in with a question? Hi,
Oh, yeah.
Sarah from News 8. I'm jumping in for Rich Capola. He had to go on set. He was wondering about the Christopher Columbus statue that is apparently coming down. He was wondering when it's coming down and how talks with the Italian community have been.
So planning is underway as far as when the statue will come down and how that will work. I know that I've had some conversations in the last several days, and there's been a lot of conversations among leadership in the Italian community. Columbus, for many people in the Italian community, is an icon that celebrates Italian heritage. And of course, Columbus also represents for many colonialism and some pretty awful actions that were taken historically. I do think it's I think it's the right decision to take the statue down. I do think it's important for us to have a conversation about how to celebrate Italian heritage in New Haven that is so important for many Italian people that live in the city.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Sure. Michael, go ahead. You're on mute. There you go.
Sorry about that. Over the weekend, a number of people, activists and demonstrators called for the defunding, not just of the New Haven Police Department, but also the Yale Police Department. Now, many New Haven businesses, including those that are in university-owned commercial spaces, but also many that are not, I think depend on Yale Police as well as New Haven Police for security and safety of their stores and their restaurants and the people who work there and the people who shop there. So I'm guessing that many of the top brass at 1 Union Avenue would say they regard the Yale Police Department as a valuable partner in law enforcement in the city. And I think my question to you is, would you agree with them, or would you be more inclined to agree with people who say the university in 2020 has no business being in the law enforcement business?
I think this is a very important question that frankly, we're having conversations internally about in reviewing the agreement with Yale to determine what the right relationship is between the university and the city. I've been pretty clear that the overall goal is how do we keep our communities safe? And there's a lot of different opinions on how to make sure that that happens. I do think that there's some important messages that need to come from the defund the police dialogue about how the goal is not to police communities, it's to keep communities safe, and it may not always be police response that does that. And I think that it's fair to say that that Yale and other municipalities, police forces, interactions and activities in New Haven need to be explored further. I'm not sure yet what the right answer is to this, but I do think that we should be having a deeper conversation about it. It sounds like I'm totally trying to avoid your question, but we're thinking about this now, and I don't have a good answer yet.
Are those conversations within the bounds of city government, or are they between people at the university and in city government?
At this point, it's an internal conversation within city governments. We have not been talking with the university.
Thank you. And if I could ask one more, how would you generally characterize, now the university and the city have been occupying the same geography for 300 years, and the relationship goes up and down, and sometimes it's good and sometimes not so good. How would you characterize the relationship between the city and the university today?
I think we have some work to do.
Could you elaborate a little?
I'm not sure as I need to. I think that I've been quite clear that especially in these times where we have I've been clear for the past year that I think it's critical for those that have the ability and the power to address income inequality in a meaningful way. And was clear before we had a pandemic and global protests. If we can't make progress, meaningful and deep progress, when we are in a pandemic and experiencing global protests of outrage about police brutality and systemic racism and the economic income inequality that goes with that, I'm not sure when we'll be able to do that. I think we have a lot more work to do.
If I may ask one more, many times in history, improvements in the relationship have come from conversations between, the occupant of City Hall and the occupant of Woodbridge Hall, out of sight of the public spotlight. Can I ask how your relationship is with President Salovey today? Can you do to talk offline about things?
We do. We talk on the phone.
And would you say you have a constructive personal relationship, if I may ask?
I think it's constructive and respectful.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Any other questions? All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon. Check out that video.